Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah, but I want to introduce you first to our CEO and founder of the Baloca Group, Troy.
Well, hello. Hi, family and friends. Most of you have already talked to you in the past, and this video is basically just to let you know a little bit about what we're planning on doing here to finish 2017 and going into 2018. We've created a really solid group of people that we're going to be mentioning here a little bit later. But there's a whole list of things, of divisions that we have formed under the Baloca Group. Before I do that, I want to tell you, some of you know, some of you don't know who I am. But my name's Troy Baloca, and I've been in the digital advertising space for about 17 years, a little bit over 17 years. And I've taken that, and I've actually learned a lot when it comes to digital marketing. And I came into the real estate industry, and as I came into the real estate industry, they're telling me, Troy, we need leads. In doing the research, I found that I actually came into it, and they're telling me every day we need sellers and buyers. So what we've done, which I'm going to go into a little more depth, but we're a technology marketing company as well within the real estate investment industry. So it's going to be a little complicated, but we'll walk through it. Before that, I'd like to go ahead and introduce you to Sarah. Sarah Bennett is our Chief Marketing Officer. And Sarah, if you can go ahead and tell them a little bit about you, that'd be great.
Sure. So my background is in marketing as well. However, I have been a business owner. I owned 4 health clubs, and I did all of the marketing for that. And after I sold my health clubs, I got into commercial real estate myself, actually. And I did exactly what we're doing now, which is help form real estate syndication groups and do crowdfunding, and we would invest in large projects and return our investors a substantial amount of money, and of course tax write-offs and all of the benefits that come along with real estate. I'm helping Troy put this together. Like he said, I'm the Chief Marketing Officer, so the presentations and a lot of the marketing that you'll see will be created by myself. And what I wanted just to differentiate between us is, right now we're talking to, like Troy said, our friends and family. So this is kind of our inner circle. And we do actually have 2 different structures that we're going to have in place. We're definitely going to have our real estate side of things, which is just going to be the real estate investment portfolio. And there will be a substantial return on the real estate investment side of things, which we will share with you later. But this particular presentation is being completely geared towards you guys, our inner circle group. This is our family and friends, our extremely close knit group of people that we want to share not only the profits from real estate, but also the profits from some of the other things that we're going to be discussing in this group. We're super excited, and we're so glad you're here.
Thank you, Sarah. All right, let's go to the next slide.
Unfortunately, I'm backwards, so just going to give me 1 second and we'll be there. Okay, there we are.
There we go.
All right, I think I'm doing this one. So first of all, we wanted to talk about your retirement. And I don't know if many of you have taken like a really close look at your retirement and your retirement situation, or have done a lot of research. I've been doing a lot more myself, because I am 38 years old, and I know that I'm not like close to 67 or 65 retirement age or anything, but I am getting there, and I need to start thinking about it. I know that. I'm aware of that. And I do have some stuff, in the works, but I out of curiosity the other day pulled up on a TD investment calculator to see what I would need to retire. And honestly, guys, it scared me. I'm not going to lie. Like, it freaked me out. One thing that I want to point out is that by the time I'm 55, so I think they said right around 30 years, that the Social Security funds will be completely gone. So we cannot depend on that. And so, I want to urge you guys to think about that. Like, what would you do if you had no Social Security lined up? Would you be able to make it? And the answer to that for most people, unfortunately, is no. So right now, a lot of people are depending on, their unstable 401k. Being that I've been in the kind of the investment business, I've also helped set up a lot of overseas structures. I also have been kind of in the trade world for quite some time. I used to help very high-end individuals set up tax structures and also shelters for their income, and also help them invest in private placements. And when I did that, I learned that 401ks are not safe. In fact, I had one investor lose $500,000, half of their 401k overnight. And being that our government and everything that's going on is so volatile, it is not something that you can really depend on. And not to mention that, the average return, if you look here, is between 1% and 10%. That's like nothing. I mean, really, can you really survive, on 1 to 10% earned per year? No, it's crazy. And then once you do pull the funds out, you have massive taxation, like 33% of your 401k gone to taxes already straight off the bat. So, so what do you have left, And then also a lot of people don't even have 401ks, no retirement at all. Like many people have changed jobs too many times. They've been self-employed. I know a lot of us have been self-employed. In fact, most people that are doing well are self-employed. They have little to no money set aside. And nowadays, the number one thing that people are depending on is their homes. Well, at least I'm going to own my home, right? At least I'm going to have this one home and I'm going to get it paid off. I'm going to work really hard and I'm going to have my home. That's what I'm going to have. Well, nowadays it's getting harder and harder to obtain home loans and to keep paying that mortgage payment because of the job transfers and because of the employment changes and the environment changes. So a lot of people are not holding their homes as long as they used to. Think about this, hey, you're making $100,000 a year. So you buy a home in California where you live or wherever you live, and then Apple or whoever you're working for offers you a job making $250 a year moving to another state. Are you going to turn down the $250 a year because you want to stay in your home? Probably not. So, and then you have to deal with renters and who knows if the home's going to go up or down. So there's just a lot of insecurity, a lot of risk to your retirement. And that's kind of what we wanted to address and wanted you guys to start thinking about. In fact, here's an example. This is someone of my age. This is what I pulled up with that TD calendar, that TD calculator, which we actually have on our website. It's a really cool tool, so you'll have to check it out. Here's an example of someone my age. Let's say I had no money. I owned no real estate. I've been self-employed. I've always owned my own business. And I will be, by the time like I had said earlier, by the time 2030 comes along, which is 2033, which is when they're saying the funds will be deleted for Social Security, I'm only going to be 55. So I still have, 10, 15 years left to work. So when I pulled it up, if I want only $6,000 a month to live off, which is not much with the rising healthcare and everything, I would have to have $6.6 million in the bank to retire living on only $6,000 per month. And I don't know, I live in North Carolina. I know Troy lives in California, and I know a lot of people who live in California could not survive on that. Troy, could you survive on that?
Absolutely not. In fact, that's the reason why we're doing what we're doing is because we need at least 10 to 15,000 per month out here. So,
yeah. So, in that example, I would have to put aside right now, starting today, I would need to stick $126,000 in the bank every year on top of what I need to live today. And there's really no way to do that. How does a person do that? The solution is you have to take calculated risks. You got to take calculated risks with higher returns, such as real estate investing, shares in up and coming technology. There's many people who invested in like Apple back in the day, and had you have invested in Apple, you'd be a millionaire right now. And, that would have been a smart thing to do. So you want to make sure that you're investing in up and coming technology. You want to invest safely in trends that are skyrocketing in the market. And we have the solution for all of those things. That's why we're talking to you about this and why we're bringing it up. So I'm actually going to turn it over to Troy to talk to you about what we do and what the Baloca Group is. Come on, Troy.
Great. So yes, the Baloca Group, who are we? It started off, like I said, basically in the real estate market. But, as we started talking to more and more of the board members and some of the investors, a lot of seasoned vets have come into play. There's a lot in here that actually Sarah handles herself, which is tax structure. We have a solid attorney that we're bringing on board, not just for business, but also for real estate. So it's a little bit of both, and their whole group handles that for us. International investments, that's something that Sarah specializes in as well. Then we got the real estate management. We have some key people in place. We got some good property property companies, property management companies that we're bringing on board to handle a lot of our actual fix and flips, or I'm sorry, our multifamilies, our apartments that we're going to be purchasing here in the near future. Then we have marketing and web development. I'd say that's more or less into the technology group. Technology is something that we're going to be talking a little bit more here soon, actually. In fact, if you want to go to the next slide, that'd be great. So yeah, there's going to be 4 groups that we have here. And when it comes to solutions, we have the advanced real estate technology, which I'm calling currently PropTech Pro. This industry, like I was telling you earlier, is hurting. It's hurting and needs leads really bad. Basically sellers. It's really low in the market right now. It is a seller's market. And that being the case, we have to go out there and we have to start creating our own leads. We've recently actually started one of our new lead gen companies, or websites, I should say. It's called Need to Sell My Property Fast. That one's gauged to everything, from divorces to property liens, employment transfers. It's for everything. Eventually, we're going to be building out niche websites that we're going to be marketing directly through Facebook and other marketing paths to go ahead and make sure that we're actually bringing all these leads in. Now, what's great about that, and I'm just going to tell you, the lead generation platform, which we're calling PropTech Pro, that is going to be basically for all the buyers. I mean, all the real estate agents. Now, I'm connected to Keller Williams. And that being the case, that's 167,000 agents across the United States and international. My goal is to make sure that we go ahead and start off within my team. And when I say team, that's about 25 people. They're going to be the ones getting the leads first. As we start bringing in more and more leads through PropTech Pro, that's a lead generation system that's going to be able to go ahead and funnel every lead that comes in and pick the top agents that are inside that area. If it's in Arizona, if it's wherever, we just know that we have the top agents taking care of it. We'll go a little more in depth in that because the top agents are going to be getting for free the leads. That's because we're going to get 25% of every single transaction they do, which is between $4,000 to $9,000 per transaction, versus selling our leads, which we are also going to do for the little bit less seasoned agents.
Well, not to interrupt you, Troy, but so far we haven't really said a lot how PropTech Pro works. What exactly does PropTech Pro do?
So PropTech Pro is the lead generation system. Now, the one that you're talking about is called OpZ. OpZ is pretty unique. Basically, what OpZ is, it's an application for buyers. They see a house, they go down the street, and they're like, wow, I really like that house. I want to go in there. Typically, what they have to do is they have to call the agent that they see on the house and or their agent to go ahead and set up a time to go ahead and go into it. The way this is going to work, OpZ, is going to be very simple. They're going to have a little app on their phone, like everybody has apps, downloads app all the time. They're going to pick or put the address in. And as they put the address in, it's going to ping all the agents that we have within our database. And it's going to send them an SMS message saying someone is interested in the house. Now, at that time, we're going to also know if they already have an agent or if they're already, how serious they are in buying. Just a little list of what they're going to be what they're walking into. At that time, that person that drove by the house is able to go into the house. Someone's going to open that door for them within the hour. It's pretty much like an Uber for real estate, I guess you could say. Yeah, that's how we're going to be rolling into it. So, yeah.
So that's very cool. I personally am really excited about it, being that I have a lot of history in real estate, and a lot of times I've had to drive out and meet people and set up times, and it's very frustrating.
Exactly. You're not going to have to worry about that no more. Yep. All right, go ahead and go to the next slide. I think we got
this is me. So this is our real estate portfolio. So this is what I had mentioned kind of at the beginning of the slide, is we actually have two kind of elements. We have the inner circle group, which is y'all. Sorry, I'm from North Carolina. You hear my southern draw here, but and then also you guys will get a chance to invest. You guys will actually get first dibs. Being that you're part of the inner circle, you guys will get first priority to invest in any projects that come on board. For example, we have our very first, in fact, some of the money that we're trying to raise today will be allocated for a down payment for a condo located where I live here in North Carolina. I live in beautiful Pinehurst, North Carolina, which is home of the PGA golf tournaments. So we have 162 golf courses within like a 50-mile radius of myself. we can actually purchase a condo here, or as many as we want, that are in kind of a golfer's rental market. And what happens is these very high end, very classy, usually men, sometimes women, mostly men though, will rent out these 2-bedroom condos, and it'll be 4 of them that will share these units. And it will come with their entire week stay plus a golf pass for the 4 of them to go golfing all week at the 36 participating golf courses. So with that being said, when we purchase these condos, we're actually going to have, us as investors, we actually get to have kind of as an added bonus for anybody who's a golfer, we get to have memberships to to the Arnold Palmer and also number 7, which are the two of the most prominent golf courses in the United States, and also where they play on Pinehurst number 7 is where they play the PGA tournament. We're gonna get to have free memberships there. So anyhow, they rent out the week, and they pay about anywhere from $2,500 to $4,000 a week to stay. And this, we have pretty nice weather year round here. People are crazy. I live on the golf course right now, and I have to tell you, I've already seen 3 people out there playing, and it's like 25 degrees right now, kind of crazy. But they will rent out those condos probably over half of the year, maybe right around like about 70% of the year actually is between 50 and 70% of the year are the numbers that they rent out the condos at $4,000 a week. Now, let me tell you how much we're going to get these condos for. So we can get these condos for anywhere from $95,000 to $140,000.
That's kind of exciting right there, because that's doing several things here. Is we actually can own many of those condos right out of the gate, which is going to be exciting for us as well as for the company, because we're going to be building a lot of business credit underneath it. So.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is it's going to create some cash flow for us to have our ongoing expenses. But the key factor here and why we're buying one of them, I wanted to just point out that you'll see at the end when we tell you where we're allocating all the money that we're putting $50,000 down on one of these condos. The reason that we're doing that is we could just pay for it up front, but what we need to do is for 6 months, we need to make payments in the Baloca Group name so that Baloca Group itself can establish its own credit, so that moving forward, we're able to obtain more and more properties in the Baloca Group name versus having to ask one of you guys or us to be a co-signer on the loan. So that's why we're doing that. Okay, our second project that we're super excited about it is a big project, but very well connected, and I was able to secure this project with way less money than what it's valued at. It's a 56 unit, and we're actually going to do like a green condo project. We have found it's in Monterey, California, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. And it's in kind of Wine Valley, and it's just absolutely breathtaking. We have found the group that I'm connected with has a lot of connections with movie stars and kind of higher end, Leonardo DiCaprio, people like that. So the trend right now amongst kind of the higher end individuals is green projects. Well, we can build green condos for the same cost as we can a regular condo. So we've decided to go that route with this, therefore enabling us to sell them to the higher end people that are looking at these units. We are also able to obtain this land for between 6 and 7 million when it's valued as it sits right now for 18 million before we even build a single condo. So it's already got a substantial amount of profit in it, just that alone. So we're getting it for half the price, and that's kind of what we're specializing is we're going out there, we're taking the people that we have relationships with, and we're sending kind of like our gophers out there to find us properties that are at 50, 60, 70, at the most 70% LTV. And that's how we're going to be able to return such high returns. So we're really excited about this project. The overall returns that we're looking at seeing on this project is in the millions. It's 56 million profit. We're looking at a 50% or more profit margin that we're going to be sharing with the investors.
I ran the comps for that, and they're looking at about a mil per condo that we'd actually sell it out.
Yeah.
About 800 to a mil.
Yeah, and the thing is that there's actually 3 scenarios, and our best scenario is actually where we sell about 40 of the units and we maintain 16 of them and we rent them out on like kind of high-end vacation spa spectrum. And again, our inner circle investors will get use of any unused, or if you could put a reservation with us or any unused weeks that we're not renting out, you guys are going to get priority to those units. Nobody else will get that. None of our other investors, but you guys will. So here is a little a video that we put together on the area and the project. It's really short, so I'm going to go ahead and play it.
Yeah, I don't know if we have to go through all this.
Yeah, it's only 50 seconds. Okay, so that's it. That is the Carmel Valley project.
Great video.
Yeah, we'll have a lot more information as we get closer for you guys to learn more about it. Okay, and then our fourth position, which I'm super excited about because I've had some really, really close friends. This is kind of right up my alley. I have been in private placement for a really, really long time. I was in it for 13 years. And it used to be that in order to get even an interview with me to place your money, you had to show me proof of funds for $500 million. So the fact that you can go into something like this and make the kind of money that, you know, they're making out there right now is unbelievable to me and exciting for me. I'm excited. I've been doing tons and tons of research on it, but that's Bitcoin. I don't know, maybe some of you guys have heard of it. I'm sorry, the sun is hitting me at a really weird angle, but maybe you guys have heard of it. But the Bitcoin is a great, and has proven to be a very safe investment. You guys have probably seen a lot of groups pop up there, and there are a lot, and you do need to be very careful if you are trying to do this, and you know, after you watch this video and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go get some Bitcoin. I really urge you to be very careful and cautious about which ones you go into and who you go in with. There are some good ones out there that you can go into for as little as $100, but the returns will be minimal, like 20-23% a month. We, however, being that my background is in overseas private placement, I have some very, very strong connections and contacts to be able to go directly with a trader who is with the Chicago Mercantile, and we will be able to place our funds directly with him. Now, safely and cautiously, he estimates his returns, or he says that his returns are 400%. So 400% return on your money. I will tell you that historically in the last 12 months, we have seen it be about double that. And you guys have probably maybe seen the trend. About 2 years ago, you could get into Bitcoin for about $1,000. And a couple weeks ago, it was at $17,000. So, you know, just kind of an example, I had a very close friend of mine put in $10,000 on September 11th. And 2 weeks ago, that money was worth $50,000 already. So that's just to kind of give you an example of what you can do. You can see it constantly. You can see from here all the way up. This is just a month's worth. You can see the massive uptrend.
Right.
Now, I do want to point out, though, that there is a little bit, you know, it just recently launched live. Like, it actually went on to Wall Street. And it has actually become by it going onto Wall Street, they're basically accepting it as a form of currency. So now you'll start seeing, or you've already seen, like Expedia and eBay are starting to accept Bitcoin as a form of payment now. And you'll start seeing larger and larger corporations getting involved. There are already tons and tons of them getting involved. But with it going on Wall Street, that's them accepting it as this currency. But there's also been kind of a little bit of vulnerability because a lot of people didn't know how that was going to react. So it did bring the Bitcoin down a little bit when it hit the market. However, we are not worried. We knew that was going to happen. We followed the trend. We knew that trend was coming. I will tell you that Bitcoin right now, I think it's right around somewhere around 12,000 right now. It is scheduled in 1 year to be worth $100,000 per coin by very, very, very wealthy people. These are people that have never been wrong in their predictions. And in 10 years, it'll be worth $500,000 to buy a Bitcoin. And people like us would normally not even get even a chance or a shot. So With the private placement trader that I have, we would be going directly to the trader. We would not be going through any groups or we wouldn't be messing around with anything. We'd literally be going directly to the trader. He would be directly trading for us. And then us as the Baloca Group, we are splitting that with you guys, the investors, 50-50. So even though, the returns are substantially higher by going with my private trader versus you guys trying to do it on your own. So even with the 50-50 split, you guys are going to be making a lot more money than you would have had you been trying to do it on your own. So it's worth it. It's safer. You're going to be directly with the trader. And then we're using our 50% to go into buying more real estate and expanding on the company, which ultimately benefits you as a shareholder as well. So we really think that this is a strong way to kind of jumpstart our the Baloca Group, because this enables us to pay you guys pretty large chunks of money back on your initial investment pretty quickly. So I'm going to let Troy take over here and talk about how much we need and where it's all going to go.
Right. Thank you. And the ultimate goal here is retirement. Some of you are looking at, or maybe do have already solid retirement. Some of you probably have no retirement. And some of you are already retired right now as speaks. The big thing, and one of the goals here at the Baloca Group, is going to be to where you have everyone that's with us is going to have passive income. That's the goal. Eventually, that's exactly how we want to roll, to where you get into the old, and it's going to be forever. Whoever's going to be with us, we're not going anywhere. So, and that being said, yes, we do need, we're raising some capital, and we're looking for a couple of good, solid, I'm going to call them board members, because at this point, I've been talking to several tax attorneys, and I got some good tax advice. And what I'm looking at now is not bringing in like 10 or 15 people. I'm looking for maybe a good handful, if not less. And we are going for corporate setup and law firm. Like Sarah was telling you a little bit earlier, the most important thing whenever you do real estate syndication and or anything in real estate or business, you have to have a solid lawyer and a group behind you. So we're definitely going to go ahead and secure them. The 3D camera for listings, that's very important, especially when we actually start selling, because we're doing it all, everyone. When you're part of the Baloca Group, people that we're talking to right now is for the Baloca Group. That's not for the new companies that we're going to have underneath the Baloca Group. You're going to become a shareholder. And that being the case, you're also going to be part of the real estate and the real estate profits that we're doing. The buying, selling, everything. We're going to have it all the divisions. Technology and app, that's the most important thing as well, because at the end of the day, if we wanted to go ahead and sell out some of the divisions, like the technology division, we're able to do that because I've been fortunate to be in a lot of mergers and acquisitions. In fact, Radio One just sold or got acquired. And what's great about it is there's two things that are important: the technology, which is all the code that's been written, proprietary code, which we're doing, right? And the other one is database. If you have a solid database that follows through with it, it's an easily sellable product, especially if there's a lot of users on it. The other one is management staff. We can't do anything without the management staff. We want to make sure we have all the key players in the right place. So we got that. Marketing is very important. In fact, that's going to have to increase, because now that we're doing, and this, Sarah, this is something that you and I have been discussing, but we're going to bring on several other niche websites that are going to be focused to bring in more leads. The lead side of things is going to start as soon as we get the marketing budget in play. That money is coming in immediately, because we own 100% of the profits. You see, we're an in-house publisher, which means that we don't pay any third party for all the leads that come in. And then money down for the first property. She was explaining that to you a little bit earlier in regards to the condos. That's basically where we're going to be going. That's where our goal is, to go that route. If something else pops up that you guys see as shareholders, that you say, hey, we should probably go this route over here, we're going to all take it collectively, and we're going to go ahead and make the right decision. And then the Bitcoin private placement, that's going to be key. That's something that's hot. That's something that's happening right now. That's not going away. And what's great about that is if we put our money in there now, you're looking at about 50,000 growing to maybe 200,000. Those are just rough numbers, but that's over a year. I mean, we can take our money out within 6 months, but we're more than likely going to keep it in there just to keep it going and making it grow on an annual basis. Sarah, if you want to go ahead and go into this, it'd be great.
Sure. So this is kind of a rough estimate. It's hard to know what everything's going to do. And so I tried to keep the numbers pretty low and realistic. of what kind of profit margins can we expect? Like, what can I see on my money? So what I had done is kind of an example on the website leads that he was talking about, all those different niche websites that he was talking about. So maybe you guys know this, maybe you don't, but most homes when they're sold, there's 3 to 6% commission that is issued to the real estate agents. Now, when we actually provide the lead to either the buyer's agent or the seller's agent, meaning we actually say, hey, here's the seller, and they go and they obtain the listing, and then the home gets sold, they owe us a 25% real estate commission. All right, so I did it based on a $600,000 home because that's pretty standard in California. So a $600,000 home sells, and 3 to 6% commission. Let's call it 6%, 3%. We get 3%. So we're probably only going to represent one or the other, but 3% of that is commission is paid out. We get 25% of that, which is $4,500 to $9,000 per property, depending on if we provide the buyer and the seller, or it could happen. It can go either way. So that's per home. Now we're having like 25 to 30 of these websites out. So as you can imagine, although it may take us a few months to gear up to it, we're going to be having, up to eventually, once we have this go nationwide, because we're with Keller Williams, we could be looking at having 10 to 15 of these a day go down. I mean, realistically, to start kind of lower, we're going to say 1 to 2 a month. And we're going to say that it's going to take us about 6 months to start producing even the 1 to 2 a month. By the end of this year, I think we'll be at around 10 a month. And then I think it'll just skyrocket from there. And then profits through the technology. This is the kind of the OpZ technology and the Prop Pro Tech. If I'm saying that, Prop Tech Pro
Got it.
technology. Got it. This is going to be leads that are also sold. It's also based on a lead system that are going to be generated from our technology. So same situation, a $500,000 house is sold. However, we provided the lead. So we get the referral fee. That is a standard 25% fee that is given to us for providing either the seller or the buyer. So, in this example, I used a $500,000 home, something a little bit lower. Maybe it's someone who sold it down in Texas. Maybe we have a Keller Williams top agent who got this lead. They sold it, and our 3% referral fee comes out to $3,750. I don't know if you guys can see the big picture on this, but I know for me, when I saw this, I got super excited because there's 50 states. There's 50 states in the United States. If each state just had 10 properties sold,
right.
I mean, that's 500 homes that we're seeing a $3,000 to $5,000 commission. That's millions and millions of dollars. You take this, and in 2 years, being that I was a business broker for 3 years, in 2 years, this technology will sell for $4 or $5 million. And you guys are going to be part of that.
Easily.
Yeah.
Something I want to add in there, it's pretty important, is, the leads, that's all I've specialized in for the past 17 years is lead generation. And when I came into it, like, I'm going to go ahead and stress it again. As soon as I came into it, they're like, that is our weakness. That's the real estate's weakness. If we cannot find a real estate agent within Keller Williams, are we going to go out to other businesses? Yeah, absolutely. In fact, yeah, because we have a Prop Tech Pro that's actually going to go ahead and monitor that, and it pings them saying, we need you to update your listing. There's always going to be follow-up behind it, which is going to be very, very key. And yes, we are going to be able to sell this in the future if we want to, but this is a cash cow. This is something we make money 24 hours a day, seven days a week. I mean, it's what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess, being that, whoever does come on board with us, you would have a vote in that, whether we sold it or didn't sell it. That's definitely one of the benefits of being an inner circle investor. All right. Mm-hmm. Profit from Bitcoin. I base the numbers here on if it does not go up at all, which is highly unlikely. It's, like I said, it's set to go up to $100,000. Returns that are expected are based on us going with a private trader, not if you were to try to go off and do it on your own. That's, and I'm going to go over at the end all the different details, but basically, if you were to go in with $100,000 and it was to return basically 400%, it would be over $400,000 that it would return in a year. All right. And we would be splitting it with you 50-50. So that's a 50% return on your money minimum. Like I said, he's been doing double that. So minimum, you're looking at a 50% return on your money in a year. I really don't know anywhere else you can get that. I just don't. I've never seen it. Profits from real estate syndication. Most companies do a 70-30 split on their profit portfolio. That's pretty standard. That's where the investor, you, keeps 70%, and we as the management group keep 30%. However, we are not doing that. We have decided that we would like to give our investors more, creating better returns. So we're actually doing an 80-20. We're going to give you, the investor, 80%, and we're going to give ourselves a 20% management. Now, what we're doing for that 20% management fee is a lot. Like, literally, if you go to our website, you'll see a guy kind of kick back on his lounge chair at the beach. That'll be you guys. And we'll be in the office doing all the hard work. You'll be on the computer checking your returns while we're all working really hard for you. We're closing the deals. We're working with the people to, fix up the properties, get the properties built, everything that we need to do. And
management, everything.
Management, getting the leads, getting the properties sold, while you guys are kicked back probably on the beach somewhere saying, thank goodness I invested in the Baloca Group.
That's right.
All right. So that's kind of where I went with everything with this. I tried to do, it's projected, like very much projected. I want you guys to point that out. Once we get up to the 10 condos, which is our goal, we'd like to, buy 10 condos over here in North Carolina, like we had mentioned. It will actually cash flow at least $8,000 a month. So that's going to cover a lot of expenses. Like, it'll cover a lot of our marketing expenses. The Monterey project we're estimating will be a 20 million plus profit. Remember, you guys would be getting 80% as an investor. And then the returns are based on like some homes sold and using the equipment. So I based it, like I said earlier, on 10 homes. If we only did 10 homes this year with the proprietary technology that we're using, between the leads, if we did 20 total, it'd be about 80,000. That's not very many. I'm sure we're going to do way more than that, but we do need some time to get the technology built and into people's hands. And then also the Bitcoin. It's a 50-50 split. So kind of here's where we are. We're looking for 250. We are going to put at least 50 of that into Bitcoin. So, I mean, if you come in with, $50,000 if you come in with like 100,000, as an example, I think this is on the next slide. Oh, nope, this is not. It's before we talk about, the profit from the Bitcoin, I'm actually going to have Troy talk about how much stock we're going to be issuing and what kind of a rate and how much you're going to be getting it for. So I'm going to let him go over that, and then we'll go a little bit more over what you can expect to return to your money.
All right, thank you. Yes, so as the Baloca Group and one of the founders, we've decided to go ahead and give it's about 10%. I mean, we're going to be giving around $5 million in company stock away to our shareholders. In here, it broke it down from 5,000 to 200,000. In that, most of the companies or most of the places that you have out there, like I just saw something yesterday in regards to I think you get like 2.5% on your annual rates. We're giving 10% away on that, all the way up to 20% preferred rate, meaning that we're going to be paying out bi-yearly. So that's going to be twice a year. We're going to go ahead and make sure that you get your return. Say you put $100,000 in at 20%. That means you're going to be getting what? $20,000, right? You're going to be getting $20,000, 10 on June, 10 at the end. Now, that money you can go ahead and reinvest. I'm just using that as a round number. But that money you can reinvest it and or take it, whatever you decide. We have the group to go ahead and let you know what your best move would be. Sarah would probably lead that, and then we can go ahead and go from there. I do have in here that's the seat on the Baloca Group Board of Directors, a major shareholder, is at 200,000. Since we have everyone on here, I'm going to be dropping that to 100,000 because I do want several people on the board besides who we currently have, and I want to definitely bring in some major players. So that being the case, I'm going to be readjusting it. It's going to be $100,000, and you're going to get it at 25 cents a share, and you're going to be considered a major shareholder. That being the case, we are going to create a loss this year in regards to marketing. If you are a shareholder within the Baloca Group and we have an expense, or we're purchasing marketing, which Sarah, I want you to go into a little bit more, not right now, but I want to explain a little more. You're able to go ahead and as a person that's managing as a board of directors, whoever invests 100,000 or 200,000 or 250, they're gonna be able to get a percentage of that as an expense. Correct? Is that how it works?
Yes, that is how it works.
towards your taxes for 2017. Now, granted, to pull out $100,000, some are going to be probably pulling it from their home equities or whatever, or maybe they have it in the bank. I don't know. But we are going into the end of the year, and there's a lot of changes happening within the taxes, which Sarah, I'd like you to go ahead and go into that as well, because that's going to be pretty important for people to understand, saying, hey, this is how the one thing that you can invest in safely and start and keep your money. Of course, it's real estate. That's just a no-brainer, because no one's going to get or hurt anything when it comes to real estate in the future. But Sarah, can you explain a little more, please, on that?
Yeah, I'm going to go over kind of an estimated return, and then I'm going to go over the tax benefits, okay?
Sounds good.
So as an inner circle investment, your first payment's going to be made within 6 months after investment. And most likely that return is going to be strictly from the Bitcoin, because we're still going to be building that technology and getting it out there. So I just want to point out that, for instance, if you were to put 100,000 in, that Bitcoin in 1 year is going to make $200,000 for us and for the Baloca Group, and 200,000 for you. It is the one investment that we are splitting with you guys 50-50, and that's on top of your investment with us. Okay, so we have your preferred share and all of that. But we also we've decided that in order to get you guys your money back faster, we've decided that we are going to split the returns from the Bitcoin 50-50, which is significantly higher than just getting a 20% preferred rate. So for instance, if you were to put 100,000 in, after 6 months, the return to you would be $12,000 from the Bitcoin. If you put in $100,000 and let it ride, don't ask for any money back, and you'll have a chance. You guys can decide this. You will be getting a 6-month payment from the Baloca Group, but if you let it ride, you'll get a significantly higher amount, and you'll get 55,000. So it's over 50%, and that's very conservative. Like I said, our private placement trader has been returning about double that. So if you can at all, at the 6-month mark, we'll come to you and we'll say, hey, we can give you 12,000 right now, plus the preferred rate that we promised, or however that we work that out, or you can let it ride and you can expect this. So we'll definitely keep in contact with you and give you guys kind of a choice at that point to decide what you want to do. So tax write-offs. Okay. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this because I'm trying not to make this video long.
I know. I think we've done it, but hey, it's okay.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry. It's hard with this thing, and it's people's money, and we know that we take that serious. I take that serious, but
I do too. So it's okay. Go ahead and let's talk about that.
I think the main thing is that you need to make sure, and I was pointing this out to Troy, don't talk to just an accountant. Accountants have to take an oath with the IRS. Their job is to get the IRS back as much money as they can. So we really want you guys to reach out there and speak to a tax attorney. It's the type of person. That's why when you owe a bunch of money to the government, the IRS, they always say hire a tax attorney, because they don't have to take that oath. So make sure you keep that in mind. There are a couple different ways to save money, and it depends on, like I said, where the money came from. The money could come from your equity in your home, and if you do that route. Sorry, my 3-year-old. I have a 3-year-old with me, but
it's all good. Most of us watching this video right now all have kids already as well, so it's fine.
Well, we're here at the end, so hopefully he'll be quiet for a few more minutes, or maybe he'll come over and say hi. But a lot of people are going to pull the equity out of their home, which I highly suggest, because if you don't, you're going to end up paying more capital gains on that property. So in the example where you have 300,000 or 400,000 equity in your home and it's just sitting there, you may want to consider, okay, what's it going to cost me versus what am I going to make? Right now, it's just sitting there, and it's one of the biggest tax write-offs that they're going to continue to allow you to have, especially with this new reform. And so you might want to think about that. If you take out your equity and invest it into something that's making you a 50% return versus leaving it there, number one, your write-off's going to come in that you can write off 100% of your interest up to $100,000 per year. And that's a huge write-off for most people. I don't know that you know this. And you can write off the interest. Now, also, you can take that money and we invest it into some of our properties. And we also, as a group, can write off all of our interest payments. So that also then gets passed on to you as an investor. You're going to get your percentage of, returns or, tax savings from the interest. Also, there is a couple other ways to structure it. We are really close to the end of the year. There's only a few more days, so it's going to be kind of challenging. I was telling Troy this, but if you are to set up your own LLC, and then have that LLC invest as the investor, you're going to experience the best tax write-offs. However, we are running out of a lot of time. You can write up to $50,000 off in new expenses as an investment company. If you invest into the Baloca Group, and then we take that money, and then we at the Baloca Group show a loss. And let's say, for us, because we've been in business for since August? How long have we been in business, Troy?
It's actually been, no, the other company is, but that we formed, but this one's going to be since October.
Okay, so since October. So we have a few months. There's a lot of different rules. With a new LLC, they'll only let you write up to $50,000 off. But with an established LLC, even if it's only a few months, we can write off marketing expenses. We can write off equipment expenses. We can write off a whole bunch of technology, websites. We can write off more things. And then whatever percentage of the company you own, you would get that write-off extended onto you as well. So there's a couple ways to go about it. Again, you'll need to talk to your tax attorney keyword, to make sure that you're getting the best benefit. But regardless, if it's equity in your home, that's the best write-off you can have. I don't know if any more you want to add to that.
No, not much. I mean, there's going to be more to it eventually, especially for those that are actually interested. I would like to go now because I don't want to take too much more of our times. I'm sure this is a long video already. But I'd like to point out that if you can show them what the process is to become an early investor / part of a shareholder.
Sure.
So there's a little form down there, right?
But if you scroll down, there's a little bit more information. Feel free to click around on the site, but if you scroll down, you will, right beneath this video, there's a breakdown of the money and the shares that you'd be issued, as well as a contact form. All we really need you to do is fill out that contact form and then put in the amount that you're interested in investing and hit submit. And one of us will contact you directly to get you paperwork and whatever else you need from us. And if you need some more information, whatever it is that you need from us to feel comfortable with making the leap to making, a brighter, wealthier future. Because that's really what we're all here for. We just want to work together, and a lot more power in numbers. We want to take all of those pieces that we talked about. We want to group them together, and we want to create this group and make it one of the wealthiest groups out there. That is our plan and our dream.
That is correct. Just going with that as we finalize this, when it comes to working hard and trusting in someone and a group, I've put together a pretty solid team. It's a team to where most of you already know. And when I say that, it's something that we're going to be moving forward in a major way. And we want everyone that we have as family and friends to be part of it. We're going to create that passive income. We're going to be working those long days and working those long hours to making sure that we have real estate underneath us. We have our technology underneath us, and we can only succeed moving forward. Other than that, I think we're good.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for your time, and we'll see you on the other side.
All right. Bye. Thanks, Tara.